titillate the juices. You know what? Woo! Right now. Woo! Woo!
Dr. Yooo invites followers. Oh, let's see if they increase now. Me too. Yeah, wow. Dr. Yooo.
Mock-ass mock.
He's a great podcaster.
Trick-ass mock.
Acknowledge me. We coming for you, nigga. Fat!
Yeah, Dr. Yooo, here we go. Keep plugging yourself, that's cool.
You! First up, a man whose looks will serve your inner needs and desires.
Dr. Yooo.
Yeet! No yeet.
No, we're here. We're here, everybody. Just me tonight before Monday Night Raw, Part Deuce on Netflix. Welcome to you all. I have a whole monologue set up. I had AI write it in the past 5 minutes. Let's see what it has to say, right? Let's tell a little bedtime stories. Everybody in here get liking and subscribing and sharing because I'm going to be promoting some things like my album that is out there right now. I got plenty more where that came from. So if you got a Spotify, you got one of these modern day playlists going on out here, then pick this up. I mean, music's free these days, right? I guess. I don't know why I'm doing it. Guess I just like to do it. Hello to you, Sasha Reigns. Hello to everybody out there in the HUGEnverse. We're over here. We're grinding. Dr. Huge has been editing a lot of videos for his brand new YouTube channel that will be coming up shortly. I'm going to keep this channel as well, so please keep following here. I need the watch time here if I ever want to monetize, and I would love to monetize and then become as big as The Rock someday. I fixed the mirroring situation here, so now, look, I'm a fan of the Patriots, Super Bowl champions. You can read that if you'd like. We got some football talk to possibly speak on tonight as well. I'm an expert on the NFL. I don't know if you've heard. Even had family members in the NFL, just learned that. So, wow. Shout out to me. Shout out to King Reezy. Damn right. Go get that new Dr. Huge. Brand new podcast I put out the other day. Audio version of this. SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, all over the place. Shout us out on there. Pump us up. Give us likes everywhere. Of course, that doesn't just mean here. But all right, let's get into the show. Let's do my monologue that AI wrote for me. Welcome to the Dr. Huge Show, where the drama is as fake as my last chiropractic degree. I'm your host, Dr. HUGENSTEIN. And if you thought pro wrestling was just about spandex and steroids, you've clearly never seen me try to body slam a cheeseburger. Oh, this thing's killing. Yep. Tonight, we're diving deep into the ring where every punch is a work of art and every grunt is a symphony of pain, or at least that's what they told me when I was backstage at the last match. We'll talk about the latest in wrestling news, like who's beefing with who over whose hair looks less like a bowl cut, and whether the ring can actually be considered a legitimate place to nap. Naps are funny, AI. I do like that. Reminds me of some Dabbleverse business. That lady Kmart and his mom wife, she makes sure he gets his naps in, his nappy times. Isn't that right, Carl? That's right. We've got stories that'll make you question if you're watching wrestling or live action soap opera. Did you see the Bills acting like they were in a wrestling match last week? More drama in that game than in a whole season of reality TV. Killing. All right. I think there's only a little bit more. It's getting down to the end. And don't forget, we'll look at some of the most ridiculous wrestling matches that prove the sport is less about the sport and more about the spectacle. Like, who knew you could win a match by just looking confused and lost? So strap in, grab your favorite protein shake, and let's wrestle with some laughs. Because here on the Dr. Huge Show, the only thing we take seriously is how unseriously we take everything else. Let's get this show on the road, or should I say, in the ring. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, artificial intelligence. See, I'm such a nice guy. I don't even want to like goof on the artificial intelligence, even though it's not like a real thing, right? While you guys are all going to get your like sex robots in the next 5 years or whatever, and you're going to be smacking them around and your wife beater at home. Not this guy. Take care of my robots. Like the Chris Rock bit. I take care of my kids. I take care of my robots. So that's what's happening there. Again, my robots love my music. Of course, they have robot ears. Therefore, this music is very soothing to them. It's all in my my countdown here. That's me. I did that. So again, go get it. Go get the audio version of this podcast, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, wherever. Like all that shit. Like this shit. Gotta try not to swear. The algos and the robots online, it will be after me there too. There's a lot of robot business going on. I don't know if you've noticed out here, everybody, but there is. I'm not going to speak on it too much because we got a lot of wrestling stuff to get to tonight. So what else we got to? Oh, and Teespring. Go on Teespring, DrHUGEshow, all over the planet. Pick up stuff. That's a way you can support this show. Go grab some merchandise. Hey, I don't like merch. I'm no merch table J Uso. Go get my merchandise. Do I have dice around? Merchandise. Oh. Yep. The biggest thing the thing I want to talk about the most interesting thing going on in wrestling right now, in my expert analyst opinion, Seth Rollins, CM Punk. I know that match already happened. Last week's Raw. But are we really done there? And we probably are. CM Punk's going to be coming out tonight. He's making an appearance, folks. So strap in for some pipe bombs. But this Seth Rollins, is he just going to let this go? I don't see that happening. And it's really hard for me to swallow that he had to take that L. Because of all the losing. We've gone through this before. The Cody stuff, the Roman Reigns stuff. Okay. This whole year is a big loss for Seth Rollins. Well, the past year. And then he loses right out the gate in 2025. Okay. But what this means is Seth Rollins will most likely be in the Royal Rumble now, I guess. And then he'll be working his way to the top. Drew McIntyre probably wants to get to the top. And we know CM Punk does. And there's a handful of others, which is what's best for business. If wrestling doesn't have multiple guys trying to get the strap, then what are we doing? I get how some people, especially big names or top guys, can get caught up in non-title business and go into other storylines. But there's way too many wrestlers. And if you are at WWE every night, even if you're Apollo Crews backstage, what's your goal? You're not trying to get any title. You're just kind of hanging around. You're going to win a match here too. So yeah, make all this make sense. I like what they're doing. This Royal Rumble's, to me, almost slated to be the greatest one ever, with all the intertwining storylines that they got going on, and going into Mania season. This is going to be amazing. It has the potential. They got the stuff going on. Netflix, this card we're going to go through tonight a little bit, but this week definitely doesn't seem as big as last week, they being the opening night. And you'll see, because of the matches, they're very second rate compared to that first night, where it was it was a banger to some people. It was supposed to be a banger. It was actually, they were hyping it up so much that it was very much a normal Raw, just with The Rock and, some more high stakes matches. But then it was more just like, all right, let's just finish these stories. This Roman thing and the tribal, tribal chief, good, done. It felt rushed in a way, instead of like something that they, have written long term. So I don't know. Punk Rollins, though, that's the one I'm most interested in. So we can't be over. Seth Rollins, put your lingerie away and come out in some tough guy clothes tonight, if you will. Maybe some bell bottoms. At least it'll be like jeans. You can be weird, but it's hard to fight in a leotard and stuff. I know this is a fact. Done it many times. So, yep. CM Punk, I wonder if he's going to bring out some cakes and pies to eat tonight, because he loves doing that. This guy. I don't know what that's all about. This isn't a new gimmick to me.
I drink that.
Nobody asked for you, Shinsuke Nakamura. You're on a whole other show. Get out of my life. There we go. I was looking for you, Steiner. We got more to say about you too later. Got so many teasers going on for everybody. We're going to be talking about Scott Steiner. That's right. News about him out there. He's not liking wrestling lately. And can you blame him? Are you going to disagree with him? I think not. Stop eating cakes and pies. Scott Steiner's out here and he's watching you. CM Punk.
He's fat.
Yeah, maybe he is. Compared to you at that age, totally, dude. Yep. So CM Punk's fat. Most interesting feud. And Rumble match feud, right? Because CM Punk's going to be in the Rumble. I don't think Rollins has announced yet. He shouldn't be doing anything else. I mean, who else is he beefing with at this point? CM Punk and Bronson Reed, who's laid up, trying to take my job of live tweeting Raw and all the rest. Taking my spot. It's not allowed. Do I have a spot guy around here? I might not. I got to get used to using my scenes. Get myself in the right scene. I'm such a podcast audio guy. No, he's not in tonight. We'll get him here someday. You'll see what I'm talking about in the future. Spot guy. Not his spot, my spot. Your dog's spot. Not a liver spot. My spot. Yep. We'll speak on this guy a little later. Dave Meltzer, Eric Bischoff, Vince Russo. I mean, they're not all fighting. Bischoff and Russo pretty much just clowning Meltzer 24/7 because Meltzer doesn't make any sense. And there are receipts. See, I'm not supposed to make sense. You act like you are supposed to make sense, and then you don't. So people are catching on. The king has no clothes, or whatever that saying is. The wizard has had the sheet pulled from him. That's how it's said. Dave Meltzer. Trying to get everybody to believe. What is it? His shit all costs? Like, it's all this wrestling news and whatnot. I've never been into it. Never been into any, like, dirt sheet stuff. I'm not that interested. I got enough time to watch this stuff. Maybe. And there's a lot of it these days. But then you want me to go on. I get for, like, the kids to do it. That's when I would mainly hear about, like, dirt sheet stuff. Was junior high and high school. And not everybody had a computer back then in those days. Never mind a handheld one. But damn, Dave, $15, $20, whatever you're charging, that newsletter must be amazing. Must be. Getting everybody fired up here for years. So, yep. We'll be talking about Logan Paul. Let's do it right now, because Logan Paul is most likely taking on Gunther. Gunther's already talked about this at WWE headquarters when they did that deal there. And then YouTube got rid of my video and all that because, copyrights. And so you're going to be seeing all pictures from now on, folks, because they copyright just about everything. Not all the time. I guess I can do some things if they're coming from individual wrestler accounts, or if it's me, everybody can just use my stuff, right? Because, I'm not a big corporation. But yeah, no videos. I don't even know about audio, but fuck it. We're doing it. We're doing whatever we want. And we're going to get away with everything in a boxing ring, TOS. Anyway, Logan Paul taking on Gunther. Definitely not at WrestleMania. Nobody wants that. So if you're thinking about that, we don't want it. We won't watch it. I'm speaking for everybody because, that's too big of a match for a Logan Paul. And then watch him win it and troll us all because he's a worser than the Hulk Hogan's brother. He is. Had Jay Leno on last week, and we made sense of that at least. I don't even care. You can be full-blown racist, but the racist guy, if he is a full-blown racist, right? Which, believe it or not, I don't care. But let's say he is. Let's say he's Grand Wizard Hogan. I like that better than this because this guy affects people's lives directly and has done it. Stealing that grip in the form of cryptos and things. I don't even need to know the whole story. I don't even need to know how crypto works. I just know that you're the male Hawk Tua. No talent hack. Got in through however you got in, right? The YouTube days here where, I can't make any noise here, but a 12-year-old that, does stupid shit can. All right. Got it. Maybe I need to hire some of those. Get ahead of the game here. Throw them into some woods where people apparently kill themselves. I never even knew about this stuff. But I have to know it now because you're in my world. Bronson Reed's on my online world now. And now, Logan Paul, you're in my entire pro wrestling world. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want it. And you need to get slapped around by Gunther like a little bitch and sent back to your own podcast there. Which, by the way, is the shits.
It's the shits.
I've actually heard it, not because I went out of my way to go listen to this pile of piece of shit.
It's the shits.
It was because I watch Red Bar sometimes, and Red Bar's good. Sometimes. I'll give you a shout out, Red Bar, all right? So if you ever doing a Red Bar in the wild, guess what? There's a comedy pro wrestling deal out here that knows who you are. Super famous. Super famous guy out here, guys. Just so you know. He watches him. And that's the only way I've seen this guy's podcast was through Red Bar. I heard if you say his name too many times, he shows up like Candyman or something. And I'm here for it. Red Bar me all you want. I'm more Red Bar in myself. But this guy, he want to be boxer, just like Red Bar say. He says bro a lot. He's got that whole California thing going on with the accent. It's all terrible. Being an East Coast guy myself, I can't stand West Coast stuff. In general, I know there are people that watch this on the West Coast, and you guys are great, right? Just like the Philadelphia Eagles fans. They all are the shits.
It's the shits.
Except like Jeffrey Cross and a few of the people that I know. I'll allow it from them a little bit. But the rest of you guys aren't. It's not fun. It's not funny. I don't know. The Joe Rogan, comedy people. I don't like that. They're tied in. It's the same thing. It's just it's not the best in the world. I'm not saying I'm the best in the world, even though I am. Right?
The best.
All right, we won't do the whole thing. It's so long. Anyway, they act like they're the best in the world, some of these guys. And then they do the podcast where they're laying on couches and shit. Really? You're going to lay on a couch and you're going to be all sprawled out. Everybody's going to come out in a plushy chair or something, whatever they call them things. Lay on a beanbag, and that sucks. That's why those shows stink, because they're not even preparing them. It's just rich guys showing up and playing radio. This ain't playing. This is expert analyst journalist business. You all know that. That's why you're watching right now. And that's why you're subscribing at this moment, and you're retweeting this and sharing this, and hopefully going to YouTube so I can get some fucking watch hours on there, and maybe get some more eyes on this deal. So when I have some big time guests on in the future, you know, we'll be doing some bigger, better things. Who knows? Maybe I'll get Logan Paul on someday, and I can bring this all to his attention, see what he thinks about it. You'd be like, yo, bro, I box you to death. And I'd be like, no, nope, hell in a cell. That's where we settle business around here, Logan Paul. Thank you. Get off my screen. I've had enough of looking at you. Okay. So, yeah, Gunther, if you get a chance, right? I'm not saying you need to take your liberties and hurt him or whatever. Well, you can hurt him. So don't injure him. Just give him a lot of hurt, because he deserves it, I guess. You know, from what I've heard, from what I've seen online, totally deserves it. Yep. Does Hulk Hogan deserve physical abuse? No, I don't think physical abuse. Plus, he's really old, and that back. Have you ever seen that back? Look at it. I'll show it to you right now. That doesn't look like a good back. That back is fudged. Look at all the lacerations, and his ass, his panties came off up in the back. He's hurting. And in real life also, his back, it looks like somebody put the Terminator back there. It's like half man, half machine. I'm not even joking. It's like there are things sticking out of his back. It's wild. Too many leg drops, brother. That's right.
Assume the controls. Hulk Hogan.
So no more Logan Paul. Gunther champion forever, pretty much. And he wants to be boxer. Rhea Ripley's showing up tonight. She's appearing. That's the word that we use around here. Appearing. These three things right away. Boom. CM Punk, Gunther, Rhea Ripley all appearing tonight. Rhea Ripley out of the three is by far the worst on the mic. Sorry, Rhea. Sorry to be so critical. I know the people love you out here. The kids love you. You got your Vampiro makeup that you're going to be coming out with tonight, and your Frankenstein boots and your butt cheeks hanging out, you know, tatted to the nines. And everybody's going to cheer. And then you're going to give us this horrendous promo. Liv's probably going to get back involved. She's telling us indirectly online to watch tonight. Because watch me, right? She's going to be on. And I expect her to come out when Rhea appears. Mommy-saurus, Luchasaurus, Lucha Mommy. Yep. I'm done with it. I mean, Liv's going to need to get her rematch or whatever going. But I don't need any more of this. You got Damian Priest later on in the evening taking on Finn Balor in a street fight because he can't get away from the Judgment Day. She's still in the Judgment Day with Dirty Dom and all the rest. So they just can't. They're still kind of like joined. And that women's belt is like staying in that realm, along with the tag titles, which has been pulled away recently and is now with the War Raiders, or as I like to call them, the Biker Raiders now, because they've teamed up with Priest to fight the Judgment Day. So guess what? The tag titles are still in that world too. So, okay, the Judgment Day, Priest, War Raiders, they're giving a lot of people something to do. So I understand why they're doing this, why the story is going the way it is, and people want things to be changed quicker. You know, they want things to be finished up with it. What are we going to do with them after that? You know, there's a lot of moving parts here. They can't just jump into other stories, but at least they got guys that still semi want to go for the main belt. Priest, you know, we know he's a main event or top belt guy, if you will. Hold on. I gotta sneeze. I think we did it. Just one sneeze. All right. But he's a top guy. We know he wants the belt still, even though he's been pushed back down the rankings, it feels like. Drew McIntyre wants it. CM Punk wants it. Roman wants it. But this is the thing that's confusing about this again, because they show Roman Reigns so much and Cody Rhodes is out here all the time. And I get, he is the main title guy, right? But then why is Gunther never on SmackDown? Or is he? I don't know, because I'm confused. I don't know what's going on with any, I guess certain guys like the Priest and the Judgment Day people are going after the Raw belts still. They're not in the Cody universe. They got to figure that piece out. Even if you have to do another draft and call it something like the final draft, like just make it the last one and then stick to it. You got the next Netflix deal. You got the 3-hour SmackDowns. You know where everybody is in the level and everything. You can always pull people up or put them down. NXT below SmackDown, do it like that. One more good draft. Really drive the point home that certain people are on certain shows, and then keep it like that. So there you go. That's how you fix that. Otherwise, it's been a mess ever since the last. They were drafting people from NXT, and they're not even with the company. Remember Donovan Dijak there? He got called up, didn't he, in one of the last ones? And they kicked him out. Released him, rather. But he seems to be doing big things out there. He's from my area, too. He should be coming on here. You know what? Let's go. Let's book it. Book it, my people. Get out there and book whatever he calls himself these days. We know him as Dijak. And you know what? That character he had in NXT was great. The whole, Judge Dredd Batman thing he had going on. He was all about justice. It was very good. Very good. Bring that back. We want that, Triple H. At least I do. And if I want it, that means everybody else wants it. And if they don't want it, it's because they don't know they want it yet. Okay? Just like Karrion Kross. Telling everybody the final testicle is one of the best things in the world. And you're kind of seeing it. It's tough. A lot of people are hating on the Wyatt 6 because it's mainly a social media gimmick at this point. And, and all the spooky stuff that goes on in the arena in their certain parts. But nobody's really that impressed by it anymore. And I think the way to get around that is by doing more in-ring stuff and more fantastical stuff. Maybe a ladder match. Big old ladder match at Royal Rumble or Mania between the two gangs and set it up just like a movie. Some people disappear, go backstage, you cut to that. Whatever. I'm not rating it for you. You're not paying me. Have your own people do it. Sick of you stealing my ideas, WWE. But yeah, something like that. Not necessarily the Wyatt family Woods New Day thing or Undertaker and AJ Styles. But something in between. So. Breaking news there. Do I have breaking news? Let's just make sure I got all my samples correct. I'm ending shows with porn clips, and I don't want to do that. I'm like, it's a big mistake, right? I'm a professional here. We got to make sure we got breaking news when we got it.
This is breaking news.
Breaking news. I know where the clip is. Thank you, everybody. All right, what else is happening? Here's a story in between all this wrestling talk. Vinnie Mac. I hear all his court issues have been pretty much solved. They're solving the Trump stuff. They're solving the Vinnie Mac stuff. I don't know if there's a correlation. Seems like there might be, though. And whatever. I don't know. You know my opinion on it. If you don't, here it goes. It's that this is a 40-plus-year-old woman that's in this case. So you mean to tell me, all right, I'm going to put my, I'm going to try to be in her shoes, right? I get a job with WWE somehow, because I don't even know the real story. I get it through Vince, or I get it through whatever. I get a job at WWE, and then Vince is like, start blowing me and start, let me shit on you and go F this guy and you go F that guy and then get back to me, pal. I would go, let me think about that. It's a lot of money. Do I want him to piss and shit on me and, all DP and all this stuff? DP? Sure, I'm in. No, I don't think that would happen. I don't think it would happen like that. I think if I was asked to do things I felt were against what I wanted to do, I wouldn't do it. Now, was he holding her by the back of the neck and was like, listen here, pal, you're going to do this and that? I mean, then do you still have to? You could be like, hey, Vince, I could take your whole business away from you for doing this. So, like I said, this is a grown ass woman that we're talking about, right? This isn't like a 15-year-old. Because when I first heard this story, I was like, oh, this is, and people were talking about it. I know for a fact I heard people saying she was 21, 22, whatever, early 20s. And I'm just like, no way. There's no, that's crazy if Vince is actually taking advantage of somebody that young. Even then, isn't that an adult? So she could go to war and get shot at and kill people overseas. But I'm just having a hard time with this. Now add 20 years onto this, right? And you're going to say yes to a lot of these things. It doesn't. And then I look online and I see the kids like, oh, Vince, you can't have him back. And he's the worst. And he's the this and that. And I get it. It's weird. It's not like a good look. But like these people out here, they don't have like any forgiveness for anybody. Have you noticed this lately? I'm talking generally about like everybody out here. Probably you watching right now. Now me, I don't, you can dislike anybody you want. I really don't give a shit. But I'm not going to hold it against you. I don't like Logan Paul. And there are a bunch of people that are like, oh, Dr. Huge, you're a hater and you're this and that. You don't even like Pat McAfee. I don't hate Pat McAfee. I don't hate really any of these people because that's just like, it's too strong of a deal, right? It's more like I just want him, off my TV and stuff. Like that's how I kind of come at this in an angle. But then there are people out here that like, generally the younger generation where they're like holding on to all this stuff. They don't even know these people. And they're like, I want them to like never work again. And I never want them to ever have this and to do that. And it's like, who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, does it really change anything? Plus, you're going to be upset because most of the time, they're going to come back in some form, shape or form. Like Hulk Hogan did the other night, brother. And everybody booed, right? But you know what? The same people that hate Hulk Hogan, I'm sure they got a kick out of it, right? So I'm just saying, I'm here for the entertainment first. Everything else, it really doesn't matter to me so much. Except for like when you're stealing money from people, like that's kind of shitty, right? Or if you're doing things to kids or animals or abusing anything like that's the stuff I don't like. That's bad, right? That's real bad. Like, and nobody should really ever come back from stuff like that. And but there are gray areas with a lot of things, okay? So just keep that in mind, folks, when you're watching this. because I know you're a smart audience. This audience is one of the smartest in the world, and they get it. Other people might not get this and get this take. They're just like, no, black and white. You got to hate them, you got to love them. I don't do either. Not with any. Muted again mid-show. Loves to do it to me. Anyway, let's take a moment of silence for that loss of 2 seconds of my rant there.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly. What do you laugh at, fuckface? Shut your mouth.
Yep. All right. You go eat Sasha Reigns. You come back and watch this on YouTube. Like the video and then share it to all your wrestling buddies online. Thank you. Have a good meal. I made a good one for you tonight. One of the best. Mac and cheese. Vinny mac and cheese. Uh-oh. You know what that means. Yep. How crazy would it be if we saw Vinny Mac back at WrestleMania, though? That would be something. Vinny Mac coming out, especially this year, while this is all, they need to do all this stuff. This is all I'm saying. Hulk Hogan gets booed. Good. Bring him back. Team him up with New Day. Team him up with Dominic Mysterio. Get super crazy heat. Vinny McMahon. Bring back. Bring everybody back. Does my day change on Tuesday or whenever, or on Monday after WrestleMania weekend? Not a bit, except for talking about stuff, and that would sure give me a lot to talk about. Because generally we're sitting over here lately because wrestling's been pretty damn good, and there's nothing to goof on, there's nothing to talk about, and then Cody's just always around like,
what do we want to talk about?
and I'm like, I don't know, Cody. What do we want to talk about? Now I have to make stuff up and, be like insanely creative for the millions out here. And you're just making my job harder, WWE, by making good content that makes sense. Even though it's still a little PG, you're at least throwing the doctor a bone here and tossing the rock out to me on like NXT on a CW channel where it's mostly 12-year-olds watching on that network. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? One of the best, one of the GOATs back in the day. And he's swearing and cussing, and you got what's his name there? The Burger King rapper, Travis Scott, that comes out and he gets all the kids high in the crowd. So get off my screen, Mommy Saurus. Why are you still here? We've been done with you for a minute, bro. All right. Sorry about that, folks. You had to look at Mommy Saurus for like the past however long we've been doing this. Hey, how about this? Remember this the other night? Well, this isn't the actual picture, but these two wrestled the other night. And I didn't see it, but I saw the one clip, the end of the match between Jericho and Cash Wilder or Dash Wilder, the Cash and Dash Bros. You know who they are. So Bald Cash is taking on Jericho, and at the end of the match, Jericho took a bump. Then he pulled the referee towards him. It was all so sloppy. If you didn't see it, definitely go look it up now. Come back to me and report it, because it's
the shits.
The absolute shits. Drizzling shits, thunderstorm shits, shitstorm. Totally a shitstorm.
It's the shits.
And Jericho supposedly poked the ref in the eye or did something to him. He really didn't do anything. He went like, he just waved his arm at him while he was laying on the ground. Cash Wheeler then jumps off the top rope to do, I think it looked like a headbutt gimmick. And then he didn't affect Jericho, though. I think it hurt Cash Diamonds. And then they get up. Jericho gives him the Judas effect, the most devastating move in all wrestling, that Judas effect. I seen him actually take down a skyscraper with a Judas effect one time. He just hit the lower foundation of a pillar, like the main pillar in the place, and the whole thing just came crumbling down. It was insane. So he put Cash Dealer to sleep, wins the match, 1, 2, 3, right in the middle, because then the ref woke up all of a sudden from being touched by Chris Jesus over here. It stunk. Again, doesn't really give me a whole lot of confidence to want to get back into, I gotta watch AEW again and Dynamite and Collision and ROH, and no thanks. It's a lot. This WWE's a lot. SmackDown's 3 hours now again. Come on, guys. You expect me to watch 3 hours of wrestling on a Friday night with all the hoes that I'm banging right now? With all the tang that I'm slaying? You want me to watch 3 hours of wrestling? Nope. You know what I'm going to say to that?
No yeet.
No yeet. So yeah, if Dr. Huge is going to be a little less than prepared on Saturdays, don't take it out on me. Hey man, I'm doing a Saturday show, 2 p.m., a pro wrestling expert panel, and I get all the celebrities on, all the experts, all the analysts. More to come there, but definitely put your notifications on, because I want you all to be a part of this show in the chat, live while I'm doing it. It turns into a podcast for everybody else, so that when they're working and they're lifting weights and having sex and all that, they get to listen to my thoughts and your comments. See? That's what I'm doing here. So if you're listening to this right now, get online, YouTube, like, share, sub, then notifications, and you're fucking set for life, bro. Until, YouTube just unsubscribes you for no apparent reason, just because they're trying to stick it to me. They don't like the Dr. Huge on there. I tell too much truth about pro wrestling and what's going on, I guess. Hitting a nerve. We get Gable and Penta tonight. Everybody knows Penta is coming. Pentagram Jr., Pentagon, changed his name a million times. I first learned of this fellow from watching Lucha Underground, one of the greatest wrestling shows of all time. I don't know if you know this, but it is. So go watch it if you haven't. Is it still on Netflix? It was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is. I may even have to go back and rewatch some of that. I'm sure there's podcasts about it. That's one weird thing. Can I ask everybody, and this is not me throwing shade at other podcasts that do these types, but to me, it's just, what a niche of a niche of a niche to want to talk about shit from like 30 years ago, right? Now, I really don't understand why you would do that, because there's not a lot of people that are like, hey, man, I wish somebody could do a podcast on the, name a pay-per-view from the 1980s. Unless, like, the guys that were in the pay-per-view are the ones talking about it, and with clips and all the rest. But just for an audio podcast about an old pay-per-view or promotion or whatever is like the worst idea in the world. So I just want to say that first. Like, a show should never be like, even this show. I don't even call this a pro wrestling show, even though that's mainly what I talk about. But I would. It's just not good. There's some advice for people out there. All the kids that are going to be getting into the podcast in the future, don't do that. Too niche, too weird. If you want to do one here or there in between, like your normal deal, yeah, that's cool. But I'm going to do In Your House 93, 95, whatever. And here's an hour of what I thought about it. Wow. That stinks.
It's the shits.
It just is. Sorry. So, yep. But Gable, Penta. Gable's going to take an L, looks like, again, boy, that all American or American made or whatever they call themselves now, they stink too.
It's the shits.
They're the shits. He's losing all the time. The tag team guys, though, they are looking good. They're badass dudes. They'll get their moment, I'm sure. The whole group of them. They should anyway. Yep. Got the merchandise out. People were complaining about it a little bit. I think we all know. As soon as he said you're facing a masked guy, we know Penta's coming. Duh. And now everybody thinks they're a genius out here. Oh, we know. And oh, they ruined it. How do they ruin it if we already knew? So, Penta, Chad Gable, it's happening tonight, brother. Be there. It reminds me, hopefully we get like this massive fireworks show, something, clever to bring him into the WWE, like they did with Y2J, Taz. Even Val Venus, I think, got like hyped up. Back in the day, they hyped up a ton of people. It felt like maybe once every like 3 months, you were getting like a brand new wrestler that was just coming in and that they built up during the last, since the last one, the past 3 months. So keep that up. That was another thing I always wanted them to do, is kind of bring that feel back to it, because you kind of need fresh wrestlers to be cycled in. We've had some years here where we've had a lot of the same people. They have a ton of wrestlers. Not saying that on all promotions these days. More wrestlers than human beings at this point. But on Raw or SmackDown or a big show like that, you got to have at least like the bottom rung, something different. A new luchador, if you will, right? Like we're going to get tonight. Yep. Sheamus and Ludwig tonight. Got nothing to say about that. It just is what it is. It's going to be a banger, I'm sure, because Sheamus only does bangers. And then kind of touched on the Priest Balor Street fight. Judgment Day, Biker Raiders, they're all going to get involved. We already know this. Seems like a mediocre spot, mediocre story. It's because it's like a mid-card story deal. It's to give them something to do. There's a lot of guys and gals out here, and they seem to be doing a very nice job with that, in my expert analyst opinion. Thank you. Lyra Dakota is also tonight. I wonder if that will be the actual main event. It should be. They should treat it like the top match of the night. And I'm expecting Lyra to win. She already placed second in the Queen of the Ring. Dakota Kai. I know Dakota's got her fans out here, but do you really see her getting a win over Lyra the way that they want to push Lyra? And she is really good in the ring. So there's that too, everyone. If you're a Dakota fan, you're just one of these young people out here that you're just like, nope, Dakota or we riot. Give Lyra a chance, because I'm sure you're going to probably like her better at some point. What else we got here? Jordan Grace and Tessa Blanchard are out here. They're fighting every week. I caught the tail end of last week's TNA. And, yep, they're beefing. And Jordan Grace is more cut than ever. She's like ripped. She got crazy ripped. She must only work out like when she's not wrestling. Because I don't even understand how you get that ripped. You're just going to fast all the time, not eat or drink? Like, damn. Because I remember her years and years ago when I first got on Twitter. She was around, she had a beef with me on there for a little. It wasn't nothing major or nothing like that, but it was like, generally a blocking offense by those standards back then. How Deonna Purrazzo would just block me because I disagreed with her or something like that. But yeah, she was like soft. She was a chubby girl, even at that point. And now she's like transformed. She's beyond Big Mama Pump. She's I said, it's not like thickness anymore. She's just like friggin' ripped. So wow. Almost as ripped as me. You'll get there someday, Jordan Grace. Don't worry. But yeah, people are still pissed at Tessa Blanchard. Even before I came on, I'm, scoping out Twitter here, the X machine, and I'm reading some things and people are hating on Tessa Blanchard still, saying things like she shouldn't be given another chance. She shouldn't be wrestling and, doing everything that she's doing right now. And again, it's one of those deals where it's like, so you just don't forgive people for things. Is this what we're doing? We're not forgiving anybody ever for anything. Something that has no effect on you. Words. Did she steal like millions of dollars from poor people? Did she, something like no, probably not. So, okay. Chill out. Big deal. That's all I'm saying, And the funny thing is Hansy, who I'm going to get Hansy on again. Hansy, shout out to you if you're watching. But Hansy, I can't believe it. Even during the controversy when it first happened, he was like, she's still ass eatable. And I was like, wow, bro, that's crazy. She hates the way you look and you'll still eat her. I see, this is Hansy, right? I caught a tape of it. Yep. So, unbelievable. I would never. Not me. How is WWE still trying to make Meechin the thing? Like, stop trying to make Meechin a thing, bro. It's not cool. It's not fun.
No yeet.
It's no yeet. Definitely no yeet to this guy. I saw one of her backstage promos that she did recently. Oh,
It's the shits.
oh man, I wish I could play some of these clips with everybody, but you know what they'll do to me. They'll take away my channel and they'll, tar and feather me if I ever show Meechin being the shits on the mic.
It's the shits.
Being the shits in the ring.
It's the shits.
And it's not even like she's really the shits. I mean, of course, I'm, going a little over the top because she's not that bad. It's just, to me, with all the available spots that are there, it blows my mind that she's hung around. She's the female Apollo Crews.
It's the shits.
And it's not to take anything away from Apollo Crews, but what's Apollo? He's been there for, a decade? And he's still Apollo Crews and there's nothing going on? Do something. She's at least doing a little something. She's a hardcore fighter and stuff now, which makes total sense if you've been keeping up like I have since the Impact days. That was one of her greatest matches of all time, is a hardcore match. But you're just now the hardcore chick. Remember they tried to give Liv that role for a while where it's like, no, you're the crazy hardcore chick now. That stunk.
It's the shits.
It's not a good role to have as a female anyway. Maybe have that as they had the guy that's in the Y86 now. He was that guy in NXT for a while. He was wild and crazy. And he's just gonna be hardcore. It's a tough one to get over. And it's a lower level type of gimmick these days because it's Mankind's gimmick. And Meechin, I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know how you're sticking around, but you are, and hopefully things get better. But I'm not seeing it. That's all I'm saying. I see a lot of these chicks in NXT that are just chomping at the bit to get up to the main roster, and they can go, and they're hot as fuck. So to watch your back, you better start jumping off some Hell in a Cells pretty soon, because the whole flatback gimmick, it's funny at first, but then when everybody keeps coming out there and seeing flatbacks or flapjacks or whatever you could want to call it, flapjack ass, they don't want it. No, they want big ass. They want Rikishi ass in people's faces, preferably Paul Heyman's or something. Now, yeah, sure, Paul Heyman. We'll just go with that. That's what I get here. Scott Steiner. He calls the wrestlers spot monkeys. I think we already know that's true. He says they don't sell punches. They kind of don't. WWE, of course, little different level than everybody else. They will sell certain things, but overall, the pro wrestling game, you can't take a DDT and pop back up from it. That's not how this works. Okay? So you mean to tell me I'm going to watch even a movie? I know the movie's fake, but we're going to watch a movie and Rambo's going to come out and shoot a guy in half, right? Is he going to just get up with his arms and grab his torso and put it back on and stand back up and start fighting with Rambo again? No. Because that's not how that works. That would take you out of the... You'd be like, wait a second. Rambo just killed a guy in Nam and split him in half, and he's still fighting Rambo somehow. So when you're taking like 3 Canadian destroyers in a row right on top of your head, you know, getting thrown through a flaming table with tacks and all this shit, but while the ring explodes, and then you pop right back up and you're ready to go, and usually they win the match right after that. Huh? That's how AEW does it anyway. It's like, here's 3 Jake the Snake DDTs, bang, 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 and then Will Ospreay just pops right back up to his feet and looks at him like he's the Hulk or some shit. You're not the Hulk. None of yous are, all right? Unless you're banging Bubba the Love Sponge's wife, calling black people the N-words, and you're the Borders are. If you're none of the 3, then you are not Hulk Hogan, bro. There he is. Thank you for watching tonight, of course. We're about to get to the second Raw on Netflix, and we're killing it, and we're doing it. And I got an album out. Hulk likes it. He bumps it every weekend. It's a badass album. 18 songs, almost an hour of music for $10. That's a way you can support. Another way you can support is Teespring. Go pick up a shirt, a sweater, or what have you. Get subscribing on here. Get sharing. Tell everybody that likes Dr. Huge and wrestling to follow this show. And that pretty much does it. You know, audio, podcast, SoundCloud, all that stuff. Good night, everybody.
Titillate the juices.
You know what? Woo! Right now. Woo! Woo!
Dr. Hughes invites followers. Oh, let's see if they increase now. Me too. Yeah, wow. Dr. Hughes.
Mock.
He's a great podcaster.
Tricky as mock.
Acknowledge me.
We coming for you, nigga. Fat!
Yeah, Dr. Hughes, here we go. Keep plugging yourself, that's cool.
First up, a man whose looks will serve your inner needs and desires.
Dr. Hughes.
I love black guys.